Hello, I'm Lee Morrison and welcome back to Bespoke Addict YouTube channel. In this series I'm going to be discussing exotic skins, that'll be crocodile, alligator, and then we'll also include lizard and shark, all that type of thing. There are many things to look for, and I'll also be sort of trying to discuss and guide you the best I can. It's quite difficult. This is far from an exhaustive exercise. I'll guide you the best I can in trying to identify the difference between exotic skins and which are genuine, and those which are not exotic skin. They are usually calf hide, which has been embossed. It's been pressed and printed to look like a genuine exotic. In short, they're fake. Most trusted sellers sell it as faux or fake or embossed, but there are one or two people out there that perhaps, particularly on the internet, if you're buying online, somebody might be just like a genuine sort of antique seller or a house clearance expert. Those type of people, they're not experts, to be fair, and they don't know the difference between genuine and fake. They might be selling a fake skin in the true belief it's genuine. So we'll be fair to them and we'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they truly believe it's a genuine. It's easy to get caught out. Now, we do have an array of skins in front of us right here. So let's just pull a couple more out. There's an array of various skins. There's alligator, there's crocodile, and there's caiman. And there's also, amongst this lot, there is one fake. I don't know who can spot it. Obviously, it's a very good fake, to be fair. It's really good. So let's just look at the various skins, and we'll look at what to expect and the little signs to look for. Let me just let's have a look. Let's start on this side. This is a genuine skin. This is alligator. It's a very beautiful shoe. It's completely unworn, and it was made in the late 1980s. It's actually it's an American maker, even though it looks English. A lot of people would say, looking at that sort of toe shape and this fine sort of chiseling, a lot of people would say that's George Cleverly. Let's just move so you can really get a good, against the lighter background. That has got many sort of the characteristics of a bespoke George Cleverly. It's not. It was made by an American maker who sort of since went out of business, and these are made by Johnson and Murphy. This is their made to order range. It wouldn't have been a shoe that you could have walked into a store and picked one. This would have been made to order only, and it is alligator skin. It's genuine, and alligator skin. It has very, very smooth scales. It doesn't have any little marks within the skin. If I take this one, this is one of the favourite shoes in my collection. They look quite similar skins. This one's crocodile, this one's alligator. Let's try and show you the difference. On a shoe that's very small, the scales are tiny, it's very difficult to see. I've got a vast amount of exotic skins, and I will be doing a completely separate series with bags and cases. Now, these are absolutely enormous, and the scales are really, really enormous. Some of them are several inches. These scales are really tiny. Now, crocodile skin, if I use the pen as a pointer, it has tiny little, each scale has a tiny little scar. It's a sensory hair scar. Each scale has this all the way through. There's one, there's one, there's one. Every single scale has an individual scar. It's only a fraction of a millimetre, these scars, like a little tiny dot. They're all the way through. Let's have a look. If I work around the sides, where are they? The scales are so small. Yeah, there's one there. There's one there. Let's have a look around this side. Are they any easier to see? Struggling in the light, but they're definitely there. But yeah, these tiny little dots where the sensory hairs were. The crocodile has little tiny hairs all over its body. They're quite short and they're quite coarse. And these sort of when the animal's in the water, they sort of stand out. If the water moves, if anything, their sight's perhaps not so good, particularly in the dark. But they can feel other creatures moving through these sensory hairs. Let's put that out of the way. Genuine crocodile skin has that. This is alligator skin. If you look really, really closely, there are none of these sort of tiny little, there are none of these little telltale dots. The skin is very smooth. Let's have a look. We've got another crocodile here. This one's made by John Lobb, I believe 1968. Yep, if I just look very carefully in the right light, yeah, there's a dot, there's a dot, here's one, here's one. Each scale does have a little tiny, just a tiny, tiny dot. They're really difficult to see on smaller skins. So these, obviously, if you're making a suitcase, you wouldn't use a small skin. It needs a vast skin. It comes from a much older animal, and the scales are enormous. So it's easy to see the dots. If it's got a dot from the scar, the hair scar, it's crocodile. If it hasn't, it's alligator. So let's pop those out of the way too. Now, this is another crocodile. This is actually an enormous shoe. I'm going to end up selling these. They're made by Foster and Son. They're way too big for me. It's a shame. Once again, they've got the tiny, tiny little dots. Just a little telltale. Let's have a look. They're quite difficult to see. There's one there. Each one's got one. You have to sort of catch them in the fine light. There we go. If I get the light, there's one there. There's one there. One there. One there. I'm just getting the light right. There's one there. Every single scale has one. As I say, that's a bespoke Foster and Son shoe. You wouldn't expect a shoe from Foster and Son to have fake skin. Now, let's pull out the fake. This one, it's a bit dirty. They're all a bit dusty, actually. I should have perhaps cleaned them before I brought them on. This is the fake. It's embossed skin. It's very, very good. It had me fooled. I thought it was a genuine skin, but it's not. It's just so good. It's the colouring, the lighter in the middle, darker between each scale, particularly around the tips there. There's a lot of dark shading. Genuine skin does have these natural patterns. Fake skin very rarely does. It's usually just one colour, and I was fooled with those. I thought they were genuine. To be fair, I didn't pay a great deal of money for them, but I was still disappointed. It doesn't appear to have any of the tiny little dots. I don't know whether this is very rare that fake skin does have the dots. I've got one bag. It's a little case, and I saw it on the internet in fairly grainy photographs. So I could see the little tiny dots that I've explained. I thought, wow, that's genuine. So I bought it cheap. It turned up it was fake, and it happens. It's very rare that fake skins have these little dots embossed into them. So it can look more like alligator. But I don't know whether that's supposed to be fake alligator or fake crocodile, but nonetheless it's fake. It's a very, very good fake. Now, genuine skin, it doesn't crease and wrinkle in this way. This is typical of calf skin. Genuine exotics just don't crease across like this. What they tend to do is they wrinkle between the scales, more like a jigsaw, and this is definitely telltale when you've got complete natural creasing, very much like a regular calf skin. But those toe caps, they do look really quite genuine, to be fair, but they're not. They're fake. So let's get that out of the way. Get this one out of the way. Got so many here. Now then, these two are definitely alligator skin. They're from about 1930, made by Edwin Clapp. And these are from about 1960, made by Footjoy. They're both American, and American design can be a lot busier. There's a lot of broguing and a lot of extra pattern. My personal taste is this has got too much detail on such a busy skin. You don't really need all this broguing and extra pattern. And English shoes generally much plainer. But they're definitely genuine. They've got quite a waxy shine to them, actually, for saying they're so old. And the waxy shine can give you a hint, a suspicion that it's fake. But that is a genuine skin. as is this. It's they're both alligator American. This lighter skin was probably about 1930, so it's quite old. Made by Edwin Clapp. None of the telltale little central hair scars on the scales. The scales are quite smooth, but it does have the wrinkling between the scales, the natural wrinkling. Let's pop these two out of the way. This one is a little bit different. I'll explain that one in a minute. Now this one is alligator skin. Once again, it's genuine. I'm not sure who the maker is. The maker's marks have worn off the heel socks, but the bespoke coat is still quite visible inside, so I could perhaps research it. They're definitely alligator skin and not crocodile. There's plenty of wrinkling, natural creasing between and around the scales. It's very difficult to reproduce this in a fake or an embossed skin. But the scale surfaces are quite smooth. They don't have the telltale sensory hair scars of crocodile. The quality hints that it's not English. I suspect it's a bespoke maker in, they have a lot of bespoke makers in, say, Hong Kong hotels, in big sort of, central city hotels. And while you're staying as a guest, you can have a pair of bespoke shoes made. Obviously, it's a much quicker process than they might make in say, like an English maker like Lobb or Foster, which can take up to a year. These were probably made within a week. It's a beautiful skin, but there's a few sort of shortcuts have been taken. But once again, I'm just looking for the tiny little dots. I know it's a genuine skin. Just it's slightly bumpy. It's less uniform. A calf skin that's been embossed, it's flatter, it's smoother. I'll show you some in a few minutes. I've got some, but yeah, it's definitely a genuine skin, and I'm pretty sure it's alligator. And they are a bespoke show. I just don't know the maker. Those out of the way. Now then, this is it could easily be mistaken for alligator or crocodile. They're absolutely beautiful, from about 1950, and once again they've got this beautiful sort of chiselling to the toe, and they could look like our English bespoke maker George Cleverly bespoke, but they're not. These are Johnson & Murphy, and they're a made-to-order shoe. It's the same maker as I showed you those later ones, which were made in the late 80s. Sadly, the company's now sort of ceases to exist. Their name exists, but they don't produce shoes of this quality anymore. Now, this is caiman skin, and caiman's identifiable by, if you look carefully at each sort of scale, you've got all these tiny little rough pock marks all the way through. None of the scales in the middle are smooth. It's very rough to touch. It's not smooth. It doesn't shine very easily because it's so uneven. But yeah, that's caiman skin. I have a bit more caiman skin here, totally different colour, but the scales are a bit bigger, so it's easier to see. So yeah, obviously you can identify the individual scale, but within the scale, there's all these little dots, and that's unique to caiman skin. This area here, that's sort of the flank. It would have been the side of the animal. This is the belly, and it's very, very rough. Coming round the flanks, around the side, between the legs, it's a little bit smoother, more like regular alligator. If you were just looking at that piece there only, that just looks like alligator. But caiman's identifiable by these lots and lots of sort of scars and pock marks, all these tiny little pits within each scale. It has the natural sort of shape and the natural creasing between the scales of alligator and crocodile. But neither alligator nor crocodile have all of these pock marks, and that's unique to caiman skin. So it's got quite a rough surface. And this is a wallet. Obviously, you can see the rough surface. Each scale has many tiny little pits and crevices. The back of the caiman, I think it's very rough and lumpy and spiny. It wouldn't be ideal for use as a bag. It's actually less common. It's less popular for use. It's not as desirable generally, caiman skin, as is alligator and crocodile. It's just not as smooth. So pop these out of the way. We've already looked at those. What have we got here? A few more pieces. And then, oh yes, I've got a few more down here. Let's just whip them all up so we can get them all together. I've got a few more pieces of fake to show you, and some genuine. So, what have we got? Right, I've got my watch I wear every day, and 2 more straps for this watch. Both, it's got the same watch has got 3 straps, and a little coin purse. 2 of the straps, the one that the watch is actually wearing right now, is Alligator. Once again, you can see there's lots and lots of wrinkling and creasing around the scales, but there's no telltale dots within the scale. This black one, let's try and get it the right, there we go. And we can just see the tiny little holes, the little scars from the hairs. Now these scales are tiny, they're only about 3 millimeters. So these dots are extremely difficult to see. But that's, the black one is Crocodile, the tan is genuine Alligator. It's on a strap like this, on a skin like this, you know, the skin's so frail, it's so tiny, you can see it's starting to lift there. The back is not exotic skin, that's calf skin with a very, very, very fine veneer, which is extremely difficult, easy to damage, it's difficult to look after. That will glue down easily enough. I'll just use a specialist adhesive just to stick this back down, because it's so frail, it's as thin as paper. And the black one too, it's got a backing, it's just a regular skin on the back and a veneer of genuine baby alligator or crocodile on the front. They're all genuine, they're my everyday watch. Let's have a look at this. This is from, I believe, 1880. It's just a it's actually a little, it's got threads and needles. It's just a little stitching case. I forget the word I'm looking for, but that is a genuine skin. It's solid silver. It's hallmarked 1888, I believe. And just looking at it in the correct light, the scales are very small, but I can see the telltale little dots that I've been explaining. So that indicates this one's crocodile. Very small, difficult to see, but yeah, they're definitely there. Yeah, that's genuine crocodile. Now, this, let's just cover over the maker's name. Don't embarrass the maker. It's a very nice piece, not a terribly expensive piece. It's very, very nice. The skin looks gorgeous. It does look genuine, but it's not. It's embossed skin. It's supposed to be alligator, I believe. It doesn't have any of the tiny little dots, but it is really beautiful skin. But it's embossed calf skin. It isn't genuine. It's simply too smooth. It doesn't have the correct sort of texture between the scales. It dips very slightly. This is simply too flat to touch. It just doesn't dip quite enough. There isn't enough of a raise between the scales, and there isn't enough wrinkling between the scales. Genuine skin, and the scales kind of on the animal's body, they sort of move about, and between each scale it causes quite a lot of wrinkling between, because the scales are quite stiff, but this flesh between the scales is softer, it flexes more, so it does cause quite a lot of wrinkling between the scales. And this just simply doesn't, even though it's very, very good, extremely good, it's not genuine. It's a fake. But it was sold as a fake. It's not sold through this particular company as the real thing, but it's so good it could easily pass for genuine. Now, what have we got here? This is my everyday wallet. I always keep this in my pocket. That's genuine. It's genuine crocodile. Once again, it's got the tiny, tiny little dots. Each scale's got a little dot. The larger scales on this side are easier to see. The scales are a bit smaller on that side. So that would be the belly, and then sort of working around this from the same skin. So the belly, the scales are squarer, and then coming round into the side between the legs on the flank, they're rounder. But once again, they've got the tiny, tiny little dots. Each scale's got its own little dot from the old century hairs. Like I say, that's my everyday wallet. This is my coin purse. I just keep coins in that. Once again, it's tiny. It would be a fairly juvenile creature. I think it's fairly old, certainly from the 1970s, maybe earlier, but that's genuine crocodile. Clearly evident in these tiny little sensory hair scars, every scale quite clearly visible. So we know this is definitely genuine crocodile. As I say to you, it's not the best quality, but it's quite a charming little item. I use it daily. I just keep loose change in there. What else have we got here? Oh, this is a bit dusty. It's a very, very fine item. This is it's a gentleman's collar. It's a collar case. A bit dusty. I should have perhaps cleaned it. I've got that many that it's got threads hanging out. I'm redoing some of the stitching, but this is genuine crocodile. It does have the little tiny dots again. You know, they're very clearly visible. They're only about 1 millimetre, or in fact they're less than 1 millimetre, but each scale's got these tiny little dots. And oh, this is full of items inside as well. Let's pull these out, because some of these are real, some of them are fake. Let's have a look what we've got here. Let's have a look. There's quite a few. There we go. Pop that back in there. Put this down here. Now, this is part of a wallet which I believed, that's why I've taken the skins off the frame, and they were very dirty and very dry. I believed it to be genuine. I'm not going to go any further with the restoration. It's actually fake. The skin, it's simply too flat. The embossing doesn't complete. Where's my little pen? The embossing, little bits of it are missing. It doesn't. It's not 100% accurate on the. So you know, where it's deeper cut, it looks more genuine. But let's have a look at this one as well. Yeah, it just doesn't have the feel, and it just doesn't have the colours. It's one of those things. It takes a lot of practice. I've been fooled many times. I believe that to be genuine. It's not. If I put this next to a genuine skin, that's a genuine skin. Is that alligator or crocodile? Let's have a look. I'm looking for the little dots. I don't see any dots. It's alligator. But you see, this one, they're a similar size, but this one's much rougher surface. It's more wrinkled. It's less flat. That's a genuine skin. This one, it's just simply too flat to be genuine. It was dirty and dry, and I believed it was genuine. I've made a mistake. Once again, I didn't pay a great deal of money, so it's not the end of the world. But you know, that one was sold to me as genuine. It isn't. It's fake. We'll come back and do another session on much bigger items, on bags. They're enormous, and the scale's much bigger. It's very much easier to see. What have we got here? That's genuine. Let's put that out of the way. Now then, this is interesting. I'm not sure. Let's have a look. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. It looks. I'm really not sure. I think it's real. I think, but I'm only 70%. It's got a very shiny surface to it. It's an unnatural sheen, but the scales look very, very good. Each one has a little dot, so if it's real, it's crocodile. But these little dots are very, very difficult to fake. It's a little bit flat. It's a bit too flat. Compared with the genuine skin next to it, which is a lot more wrinkly. It's less sort of flat on the surface. Just reflects light differently. I know that was genuine, and it's got no little dots in the scales. That was genuine. This one, I'm sort of, I don't know. I really, honestly, I don't know. I'd say 70% sure it's real, 30% it's fake. I'm just not sure about that one. Very good if it's fake. What we got here? Another coin purse. That's real. That's definitely real. It's as it folds completely through the natural creases. You find a lot of fake skins as you bend it. It folds just directly through and not around the skins. That's genuine alligator. It's not the best quality, but it's rather nice. Goodness me, what's this? I can't tell actually. Once again, I'm unsure. I haven't studied this one enough. It's dirty. I think it's genuine alligator. It's very difficult to tell. That one's dirty and it's hard. As I clean that, I'll be able to tell. I'm 80% sure that's genuine alligator. And this one, now this one's fascinating. It's tiny, tiny, tiny scales, really tiny, but it's genuine. It's more than one skin. It's very difficult to identify on such a small item. This is small bits of genuine skin that have been sort of glued together, and you can't really see the joins. It's been very, very well done, but the scales are so tiny. It's come off a creature which was literally about this long, and it's probably 3 or 4 offcuts off different skins that have all been pressed together. And there's another bit inside there, another tiny bit, but it's definitely a genuine skin, but it's not the best quality. You know, it's offcuts that have all been glued and pressed together to make one that appears like one big skin, but the scales are simply too small for it to be from one skin. But that's real, and this came from the same location. That's the one I suspected 50-50, I'm not sure, but I suspect on consideration that one's genuine. And this one also came from the same place. That's another genuine skin. Is it all one piece? Yes, it is. This will be much easier when I do the bags in the next in another episode. The bags are enormous, so you get much better view of the bags. So we got a really beautiful. It looks like a lighter, but it's not. It's actually it's a perfume an atomizer. So you just get a slight puff. The perfume goes in the bottom there. Now that's wrapped in what looks like genuine skin. If it's fake, it's extraordinarily good fake. You never can be sure. So yeah, that looks real. Beautiful. This is a little Vestas case, matches, and that definitely, it's tiny skin, tiny, but it's without question that's genuine crocodile. It's got these little tiny dots in it once again. So yeah, so get these items out of the way. And what's this? This is alligator, and it's very interesting. It's got a cup inside it. Let's pull it out. Well, it does it. I'm sure that comes out, but maybe it doesn't. But yeah, it's a telescopic. There we go. It's a telescopic cup, so you can take a wee sip. You know, I think perhaps if you're out cycling or what else would you be doing where you would need a little cup? That's interesting. But that's it's very old, probably about 1900. I'm trying to work out if it's alligator or crocodile. Scales are very small. I can't tell. It appears to have 1 or 2. Yeah, 1, 2. I can see some of the identifying sensory hair scars. This is crocodile. Yeah, there's another one. It's quite difficult to tell, even if you experience it dealing with it. That's genuine crocodile. What have we got here? Oh, this is my jewellery box. I keep my cufflinks and things in there. It's made by Asprey. It's an extremely high-end item. Asprey would never use a fake. That's alligator. It's a gorgeous skin, very soft skin. It's slightly, yeah, it's not smooth to touch. It's slightly uneven to touch. If it was fake, it would just be a little too smooth. But it doesn't have the little sensory hair marks. And that's definitely alligator genuine. And we're getting to the end of this now. Let's have a look. That's absolutely fake. It's a very poor quality fake. It's quite nice inside actually. It's an old wallet, probably about 1920, 1930. But it's fake. It's simply too smooth. When you flex it and bend it, it bends through the scales, not around them. It's got no sensory scar marks, but it's 100% fake. You know, as I said, it's not a very good fake, that one. Now this one's very interesting. We've got 2 here. Very, very shiny. One of them's genuine, one of them's fake. Genuine skins are rarely as shiny as this. They're usually a lot more matte. This is the fake. It's simply too shiny. It's too plasticky, and it's easy to be fooled because it does have the little dents, the little tiny. It's too shiny. If it were less shiny, I really would be taken in by this. But it's got the little tiny dimples, the little scars. So that's supposed to be a crocodile, but it's 100% fake. It's too shiny, and it's just not right. Now this despite its shine, is genuine. It's genuine crocodile, and the little tiny sensory hairs were here, here, here. Every single one's very, very easy to identify all the way through. And the other side, it's in glorious condition. I've never even cleaned this yet. It's probably from about 1920, 1930. It's a writing pad, but unfortunately the silk inside is completely rotten. But I'll replace all that silk. It's a gorgeous item, definitely worth the work. Despite its high shine, that's genuine. And we really are coming down to the last piece now. This is fake, and it's not very good. It's a cigarette case. It's embossed. It's simply too flat. It doesn't have enough depth of colour. Yeah, that's a fake. So I hope you found this interesting. It's too much in this for it to be particularly informative. I just wanted to give you a quick overview, and then we'll come back. This is going to be quite a lengthy series on exotic skins, and I'll come back to the genuine and fake in much more detail, and spend longer on each piece. And I've got some huge big cases. Most of them are original, are genuine, I beg your pardon, and I've got 1 or 2 skins which are fake. But on bigger scales, the scales, some of them, are a good sort of 40, 50 millimeter square. Giant skins, they're much easier to identify and sort of be viewing on camera. So we'll come back to that. It'll be a totally separate video. Some of them need restoration, some of them just need care, some of them need a bit of general maintenance. I'll go through it in detail and show you how to deal with these things, how to care for it the best way I can. I do hope you found it at least interesting, if not particularly informative, on this first of this next series. My name's Lee Morrison. This is Bespoke Addict YouTube channel.